Hello and welcome to Super Rugby Round 5 Predictions, brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, a podcast, YouTube channel, Twitter account and website, bringing you the best in rugby predictions and opinion. Thank you very much for joining me, and if you want to know predictions from myself, Ryan, Jess and Ashwin, those are all on the #Rugby Chat Show, so check those out on the YouTube channel or the podcast, and you can have their opinions as well as not just mine. Also, I'll be back on Thursday at 8 PM live, giving you live on YouTube. Obviously, the recording will be available on YouTube and also on the podcast, giving you a preview of all the games this weekend once we have got the lineups from most of the games. So check back on Thursday. I'll be live with the Yellow Cap and Grit Sports from South Africa, so join us for that show as well. Anyway, right, let's get into it. The games this weekend. First up, the Chiefs host the Bulls. Chiefs coming off a bye last weekend. The Bulls, obviously, with that loss last weekend to the Reds, and this is their second trip on the road. And you've got to say that the Bulls don't travel well, even if they did put up a decent showing against the Reds, only losing by 6 points. This one has a Chiefs win written all over it, even though the Chiefs have got around about 15 or so players injured. Still, I'm going to back the Chiefs to win this one by 10. Next up, there is no Australian game on Friday night, so we switch over to Saturday, where the Highlanders, the unbeaten Highlanders, 2 wins so far from their 2 games, host the Crusaders, who opened up with those 2 impressive wins at home before going down, to the Hurricanes last weekend. Basically, that was a 23-minute game when the Hurricanes got into a big lead, and then the Crusaders were never going to come back from that. This one, you can't see that happening to the Crusaders twice. I can't see them coming out of the traps so slowly. I'm going to back the Highlanders still at home to win this one by 3. I think a lot of the New Zealand derbies are going to go tightly to the home team. That's my overall prediction. The Brumbies then host the Sharks, and the Brumbies have been disappointing this season. I, for one, picked them as the top side in Australia, and I can't believe they can continue being quite so poor. Hopefully, they don't keep on this track until Pocock comes back. But they're hosting this week the Sharks. The Sharks, another side that we thought were going to be the top challengers to the Lions in South African Conference, but they have been a bit up and down. So they lost the Lions first up. That draw to the Waratahs on the road. Now the Waratahs lost big time to the Jaguares the following weekend. Sure, the Sharks beat the Sunwolves, but the Sunwolves haven't won a game. Are the only team without a win this season, so that's no big surprise there. It will boost the morale, but I think, both these sides have disappointed this season, and I think the South African sides generally don't travel so well, so I'm going to back the Brumbies by 3. The Stormers then host the Blues. Now, the Stormers are coming back after their tour to New Zealand, so and they're coming back off the back of 3 defeats to the Tars, Crusaders and Highlanders. Now, that first game against the Tars, they should have won, but they didn't see it through, and then the Crusaders and Highlanders, they lost by 17 and 18 points. So they're actually the ones doing the travel. The Blues have already been in South Africa for a week, where they beat the Lions last weekend. Now, a lot of people said, oh, look, the Blues kept their heads. They played to the end. Yes, they played to the end, but it wasn't composed rugby. They were still throwing it around, but it came off this time. So we really need to see the Blues step up again to really show they have turned the corner. I'm going to back them by 3. Perhaps this is more of a heart call than head call. Yeah, I'm a Blues supporter. For those of you who don't know, here's my collection of season tickets from years gone by. So, yeah, I'm going for the Blues by 3, but I say that might be a call more from the heart than from the head. Next, we head over to Ellis Park for the Lions hosting the Sunwolves, and this really comes down to how many points. To say the Sunwolves are the only team not to win a game this season, so I'm backing the Lions by 35. The Lions are a better side than the Stormers, and the Stormers won by 28 points. Sorry, the Sharks. The Sharks won by 28 points last weekend, so I'm going for a bigger win by the Lions. The Jaguares then host the Reds. Now, they had that morale-boosting win over the Tars last weekend. That was their first win of the season. The Reds, well, obviously that opening loss when they had the red card was big to the Rebels. Then they've beaten the Brumbies by 8 at home and the Bulls at home by 6. Still not convincing to say the Brumbies have been poor this season. The Bulls never travel well. So still to be convinced by the Reds. Still going to see really what they're made of. So I'm going to back the Jaguares by 3. I think, yeah, that travel's going to take it out of the Reds. To finish things off, we have the Tars hosting the Rebels Sunday 6 p.m. New Zealand time. Now, the Rebels really have been the form side this season from Australia. 3 wins from 3 games means that they and the Highlanders are the only 2 teams that have won all their games so far, and the Highlanders have only played 2 games. So this must mean that the Rebels are the most successful team so far. Now, up against the Waratahs. Now, the Waratahs are a team that battle to the end. They really do. I know a lot of people have said from when I did my post-match analysis of the Jaguares game that all teams play to the end. No, they don't really. Some teams let their heads drop. The Tars, it took a late try, it took the 80th minute try to beat the Stormers. It took a late try to draw with the Sharks in South Africa, and they played right to the end against Jaguares, even though the game was well lost, and they were never going to come back. So they're a team that will play all the way to the end. The Rebels, now, they've had a couple of relatively easy games. They beat the Reds because of a red card. They played the Sunwolves next. They beat the Brumbies, and again, picked up a whole bunch of points when the Brumbies had that yellow card. I think it was the 3 tries during that period. So yes, they've had 3 20-plus point wins. But I still think we have to see them beat a team that doesn't get players sent off, that is competitive for the full game. So this, to me, is the first big test. I'm going to back the Rebels by 3 because I say the Tars, whilst they play all the way to the end, haven't been that impressive. They still really do rely on their 4 key star Wallabies in Hooper, Foley, Beale and Folau. Sure, there are other Wallabies in there, but those are their basic, the stars who really make them tick. As I say, the Rebels have been the form team overall. Going to come down to Genia. I think he really is their linchpin, and the drop off between Genia and the next player is massive. And so I think he is really their key player. But anyway, that's what I'm going to bet Rebels by 3. Always up for a good old rugby chat, so please do let me know your thoughts down below, or you can get hold of me at DrivingMaul on Twitter. My face is there, so please do click on that to subscribe, or the red button below, obviously. And there's a box there with my latest video, so please go ahead and watch that and enjoy whatever rugby you're watching this weekend.